Somebody said, "What is womp womp?"
What is womp womp? Well, listen, it's really,
It's magic.
how can I say? It is the goodie box. It goes by many names, but it's always the same thing. You feel me?
Yes, sir, Doc. Huh?
It's good for what ails you. It's something that God gave women
My
that
gosh.
men always want.
My Jesus.
I'm trying to make this thing plain.
Huh?
I'm trying to make it simple and very plain.
And very plain.
I can't. I'm not going to draw no diagrams out here.
Somebody said that they finished your book, and it was very helpful.
Ooh, was it? I need to do a scope just on the book. Where we just have like some Q&A. Maybe one day.
Somebody said that pudding pop.
That pudding pop, yeah. Some people call it the cookies. Steve Harvey's book. Goodie box, womp womp. I enjoy womp womp. Everyone appears to enjoy the womp womp, so it just kind of caught on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So listen, invite your people. Invite. We're gonna get into this thing.
Everybody invite. Everybody invite.
Yeah, everybody invite. Everybody invite. And for those of you who haven't
FFB
gone,
Tab, thank you for inviting. Called to be great. What's up, BB0? Keisha Cross.
Keisha Cross. Relationships 101. We teaching.
Miss Lady. I'm not gonna say the other part. Love Dreamer, Denzel, Hall Taylor, Josette, Asia Duncan, Chrissy Gord, T.
Look
Marie.
at my beard. I look like Isaac Hayes. Golly.
Glam Sam, G Bird, Mr. Gam, what up?
What up? Invite.
Tezzy Love, what it do? McLennan.
Who's that?
What's going on, everybody?
4.
Classy D.
Hey, I think that they're going to really like this one. We got a surprise in the building. And so they're going to get some good information all the way around.
Harmony
It's going to be some man stuff and some good women stuff. Hey, if any of y'all saw Rev Run and Tyrese's show, I would love to know what you thought about it at some point.
What's the nice topic?
The nice topic. Well, after we did the one last week, you and I sat on Skype and we talked a little bit. And you shared with me something that helped you a whole lot, that I gave you. And we were talking about the woman, the independent woman versus the thirsty woman, right? And at the end of the day, it's really a thin line, right? We talked about, how, wait a minute. There's a thin line between love and hate. Well, it's a thinner line between being independent and thirsty. And we got this whole Mary Jane culture, right? Mary Jane is huge. It's like this is a Mary Jane syndrome, okay? And here's how Mary Jane, right, she approaches a dating situation. She's at the office, and then she, gets the phone out. She's like, call, and she's like, she calls a guy, and he's like, okay, yeah. Hey, what's up? She's like, hey, what you doing? Just sitting here, just chilling, watching the game. Oh, okay. How about we go maybe get some dinner? I'm sitting up here wrapping up some things at the office, and thought maybe we could go out. He's like, sure. Okay, cool. Okay, well, I'll be off in about an hour, so I'll be there in about hour 15. Make it like an hour 45, because I want to catch the end of this game. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be there in an hour 45. All right. Okay. So now for some women, that whole exchange might not really be an issue. It's really kind of backwards. And I'm going to tell you why. Especially in the beginning stages. All right. You're chasing. All right. Now, the Mary Jane type syndrome, she feels like, you know what? I'm a confident woman. Hey, I didn't freeze up, did I?
Nope.
Okay. So she felt like, okay, I know what I want, and then wrong with pursuing. Okay?
Uh-oh.
If you initiate a phone call, if you initiate a dinner invite, and you know what? And sometimes, maybe on rare occasions, if you initiate a booty call, it's all right. And she thinks that, okay, for a little while, this seems to work for her, right? But at some point, she starts to wonder, all right, well, when is he going to start pursuing? When is he going to start initiating, right? He doesn't do it. And she continues to initiate because she tells herself, you know what, if there's anything that you really want in life, you got to go get it. You just really got to just grab the bull by the horns and just take it. And that has served her well with her career, with school, everything she's wanted in life, right? But once this stops working for her or doesn't work for her in a relationship, then she starts, well, why don't you and all this? So now you're a nag, okay, because you're pressing in on him. And he might even act like he got some get right for a little while. But it's not because he's really all in. He's really trying to buy himself some time and get you off of his back. Okay. Now, she may think, okay, well, I really got something here because, he just started acting right. But, not really. All right. And if you stop initiating, the relationship dries up. It stalls. Right. Okay. So the thing is, when you're in that place, what's the difference between you being independent and the guy pulling away, stops calling you, stops, interacting with you, and the thirsty woman? Okay. The fact that maybe she gets there a little quicker than you? Okay. But if you're both sitting there at the bus stop waiting for the same bus, you say, hey, I'm independent. Hey, I'm thirsty. How you doing? You're basically both in the same place. Okay. So to a guy, you know what, ladies? It's all the same. Why is it all the same? Because at the end of the day, a guy just is going to look at you both as being women. Okay? It doesn't matter if one says she's independent and one says she's thirsty. And here's the caveat. Doing this pursuing and hunting and chasing is not going to get you what you inevitably want. Because at the end of the day, and oftentimes, Lex, I say some of the same things over and over. I try to say it in a different way because you didn't get it the first time, you didn't get it the second time, and you didn't get it the third time, all right? And you need to hear it over and over. So men hunt, ladies. Men chase. That's what we do. That's what we get off on. That's what we was wired to do. And that's how God created us, okay? So if you prevent this chasing from happening, okay, then you don't allow the relationship to establish this strong foundation that you're going to need for him to pursue you long term, i.e. want to marry you. Okay, he's not going to. If you look in the wild, you don't see a gazelle chasing a lion. It's weird.
Talk, sir.
You don't see bunny rabbits chasing bears.
That's right.
It's weird. You know what I mean? So why don't we take some cues from nature, all right, and understand that you're not supposed to be chasing a guy. And here's the thing. That same guy that you was initiating with and you thought that maybe, okay, if you see what you want, you take it. Well, after your relationship with the guy dries up, okay, however long it takes, some year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, after he leaves you, then you hear he's getting married to somebody else. What's the difference? Okay, she might not have it going on the way that you had it going on, like, from a professional standpoint or whatever. But at the same time, she was doing something that you wasn't. What was it? Okay, here's the deal. Ladies, I'm going to give you this is a writer downer right here. All right. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. All right. What in the world does that mean, Reverend? That means that the honey is you being able to flirt, act feminine, all right? For example, smiling, You know, that may seem like it's something very simple, but we love a beautiful smile. You know what it lets us know? It lets us know that you're open. It lets us know that you're inviting, okay? We like when a woman laughs. Why? Because it lets us know that, you know what, it's probably fun to be with her. Okay, she might make me laugh. All right. What about just a glance? Women, y'all have a way of just glancing at a guy, like that thing you do over the shoulder. You know what I'm saying? You squint the eyes. I ain't a female, so I ain't really got it down pat, and thank God. But, you know, we enjoy that. That tells us, like, I'm open for business, but at the same time, I'm not going over the top. Here's another one. I love this. Be a damsel in distress. Now, hey, if you are a superwoman, and you got on a utility belt and a cape and tights and all this, the whole damsel in distress piece for you may be a challenge, because you equate that to being weak, and you equate that to, you know what I'm saying, I'm not needy. Well, you know what? We like to be needed. So fake the be needy thing. Trust me. Try it sometimes. Go to Walmart. Ask somebody, hey, sir, could you help me get that down off the shelf? Oh, thank you so much. It'll work. It'll bless you. Also, all right, what's my other one? Oh, hey, praise him for what he does. I ain't saying you got to go all over the top, you know, and be fake with it. But at the same time, when you stroke us like that, we appreciate that. We like that. That's gasoline in our engine. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. I think the misconception is you have to go way over and above the call of duty to, you know what I'm saying, light our fire. It's not necessary. All right, because we are hardwired, ladies, to respond to the things that I just shared with you. All right. Now, if you done it all wrong, and you've been out here chasing, and you've been out here pursuing and going hard in the paint. All right. Here's this. And Lexi, this is what we talked about that you said, you know, helped you a great deal. Right. Match his energy. All right. What do you mean by match his energy? Well, if he goes 2, you go 2. If he goes 5, you go 5. What in the world does that mean? Well, what that means is, if he calls, you can call. You can respond. You know what I'm saying? You can initiate the call. If he texts, okay, you go ahead and text. And now I'm talking about if you've been together for a while and the relationship is established, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be that rigid. Right. But when we're talking about starting out, all right, where nothing is really established, you're allowing him to do what he naturally does, which is hunt. All right, that doesn't mean if he pays for the dinner the first time, okay, I got it the second time. Now, some people have their own philosophy about this and paying, but you know what? In my book, it's not really about paying. It's not about the money. What it's really about is creating a space for the guy to take you out, make you feel special, you know, let you know that, hey, I support you. I want to show you a nice time. You know, I want to show you how much you mean to me. I want to pull out your chair. I want to open the door. I want to take care of you. All right. So allow this. You'd be surprised, Lex, how many women that don't know how to and are not comfortable allowing a man to do this. Yeah. Because nowadays there's so much anxiety about going out with a guy about who's going to pay. Well, I don't want him to think that I'm thirsty. I don't want him to think that I'm taking him for his money. I don't want him to think that, you know, any of this. But it's not about that. It's about allowing him to pursue. Now, I'm going to say this, ladies. If you're in a situation with a guy and you realize, okay, I've been pursuing, I've been going hard in the paint too hard, I need to pull back just a little bit, right? Well, if you are that strong woman, if you are that woman that has that mindset that if you see something, you take it, you go after it, and he stops calling, okay, first of all, I need you not to call. Whatever you have to do, resist that urge to take control of the relationship. Now, that may be very difficult for you at first. You're going to go through a lot of emotions, no different than that of a crackhead. Okay, because it is called withdrawal. All right. And it's going to be very challenging for you, for some of you, to resist this. All right. Fear, insecurity, doubt, you know, that thing of feeling kind of helpless. And what if he doesn't this? And what if he doesn't that? But here's the thing. If you have done what you were supposed to do, meaning he's been infected by you, in this instance, this is a positive thing, right? Meaning he has gotten you inside him. All right, meaning that he had a great time with you. Y'all share some moments. All right, when he's away from you, he really misses you. He is going to have a desire to come back to you. That absence will make his heart grow fonder. All right. If you don't cave, some women, they feel like, I just can't take it. I got to check in. There was no closure on the situation. There was no closure on this relationship. I need him to tell me what in the world is going on. Well, I'm going to give you some closure. What's going on is he may be just going through his process of how much does she really mean to me? And if you disrupt that, if you get in the way of that, if you break the bird, a baby bird out of the shell before it's time, if you try to help it, you don't give that bird what it needs to survive on the outside. There's some good in the struggle. Come on now. There's some good in his isolation. There is a blessing in him being away from you to work out some things in himself, to say, you know what? I love her more than anything. I know I do. I know I don't want to live without her. I know I don't want to be without her. But if you bust all up in, you know what I'm saying, that moment for him, you don't give him that opportunity to experience that. You know what I mean? So, Lexi, I would love, and even for Joe, because Joe may have a different perspective. You know, I think there's more than one way to be right about this thing, you know. But I would love for y'all to give your perspective on what you think, especially as it pertains to, you know, how you've utilized, you know, some of this information. And then, you know, Joe can chime in and say whatever he would like to share. So.
Well, let's see. That was some good stuff. All right. Hi.
Your nails are killing it too, by the way.
Oh, bless you, sir. Bless you.
Yeah, just the shimmers is amazing.
Well, Joe was in the building. You heard what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been through a lot. Amen.
Amen.
And so what do you have to say?
No, he said you speak first.
Ain't nothing to say. I mean, everything he said, I agree. I mean, okay, how about this? Did I chase you?
No.
Talk right. Talk into. I mean,
no, you didn't chase me. You ain't no chaser.
Did you chase me?
Yeah, I chased you. Down the hall.
Okay.
Down the hall. Chris, like, I think what I gotta say more than anything about that is, Chris was right, man. When we fight against like the natural progression of how things go, you make things abnormal, and abnormality have perplexed the dating, relationship, marriage system lately. There has been a defeminization and removing the masculinity from men have been like the attack of the devil.
Wow.
On relationships and marriage. If you look, women are slowly becoming more masculine. You look at these men now, they're more feminine than ever. I'm not talking about homosexuals, just men, period. And so the natural progression, or our nature to chase, a woman's nature to want to be chased, a man's nature to cover, a woman's nature to want to be covered, it has changed dramatically. And the devil have done that strategically so that he can remove life from earth. Because as soon as he started to break down that system, he messes up our first order of business is to be fruitful and multiply. And so there's no reproduction if people aren't in a proper place. And so,
wow,
you know, we got to start from the beginning, and you know, and that's where it is. And once we lose that, the whole Mary Jane thing, her being masculine to call a man to say, "Yo, I want some of that. What you got? You know, bring it to me." That is a system that has broken down a lot, and it changes everything. If you take away a man's masculinity, if you emasculate him or castrate him, it changes even his sexuality. Find a man who has been disrespected or treated poorly by his woman, and I'll show you a guy who can't even get an erection. And so things change. Things change. Things shift. And so the more a woman walk into that masculine role, the more she will start treating her man as if he's not a man. Because it only can be one man in the house. I don't care what you say. You know, either it's going to be me or it's going to be you. That's why men put their sons out, because it can only be one man in his house.
You talking, baby.
And so if a woman start adopting those masculine traits, it changes the hunt, the thing in our loin to make us go out and get it and to search. And when you start breaking all that down, it breaks down everything. And then you'll start seeing less kids being born. You'll start seeing less marriages taking root. This is a system. And so we got to fight it. And it starts with the dating process. So if you're so aggressive that you had to change your whole mind about how you approach this guy, lady, and I'm talking to the women, and if you're dealing with a man who needs you to coddle him and to chase him and to tell him how pretty he is and how good he is, you got to send this dude flowers and candy and all that. Then it's changing the whole thing. And the system might start off innocent in the beginning, but it's a trend that happens and that continues in the relationship, and it'll start there in an endearing situation, but it slowly turns to disrespect and dishonor, and that's how the emasculation starts. You cut off the testicles of the man, and he can't reproduce, not just in the bed. He can't reproduce at his job, on his business. He can't reproduce in his children's lives. That's why these sons are acting more like their mother, because he can't reproduce his personality into his son, because these women have picked up these traits, and men have allowed themselves to pick up women traits. So, yeah, it starts with that. And so the chase is really a masculine thing. So you got to be very, very, very careful with doing that. Boy, the comments are going crazy. I can't read none of them. But that's just my thought, man.
Women are proposing to men nowadays.
Again, man, we breaking the system.
So
we're breaking the system, even biblically. And you know, I can't talk about this thing when I talk about Christian values. And you know, when Adam woke up and saw Eve, he was so excited about her being there, her being from him, that he could only say bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, And so he was the complimenter. He was the chaser. He was the one that gave the information. He's the one that gave her stuff. That's why it was so bad when they fell, is because his separation from Eve allowed her to have intimate relationships with other people. And she ended up having something in her hands that he didn't give her. And so whenever a woman walk in the house with something that you didn't give her, or a new trick in the bed and some new ideas, a new system about religion, where did you get that from? And this should be your question. And so that's the changing of the guards that's happening. And we got to be careful not to allow the woman's aggressiveness to allow her to fall into the wiles of the devil and make her bring something home that's going to destroy generations after generations, like it happened with Adam and Eve.
So the question is, I get out there, I grind, I got a hair company, I do different stuff. Am I masculine?
Ma, but you check your CEO status, you check your popularity, you check your aggressiveness, you check it at the door, because I ain't going. So those parts of your trait, being a Proverbs 31 woman doesn't mean you're masculine. It just means that you're aggressive and going out there to make it happen, for the glory of God and for the glory of your house. But women, when you gotta leave them meetings and you gotta be aggressive and talk that talk and be rough and tough and fire people and hire people and do all that kind of stuff, when you get to your door is when you take that CEO role off and you fall right back into being a wife. Because as soon as you start bringing that stuff home and trying to run your home like you run your business, you run your man out the door. And that's the truth, because men can handle a lot of stuff, but we don't want to be managed and we don't want to be controlled. And if your control issues because you have these environments that you have total control force you to come home and do that, then a man will go back to a normal situation or to a normal environment. And a lot of times they're not at home where you at, because you changed the whole thing. because you're trying to be a CEO of your home and you can't be. God didn't call you to be that. So when God come back and the house is out of order and everything is out of place, He's not going to look at you because you got the title. He's going to ask the man, what is wrong? Adam, where are you? That's what God's going to ask. So you know, Lexi got all this prestige and all these positions, and she over all her companies, but when she gets to the crib, ain't none of that. Like, I'm about to tell her to get out Periscope because I'm hungry. And I mean, we're just engaged, but I need these Brussels sprouts. And no, I'm serious.
He's dead serious.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. And so, you know, that's just how it has to be.
But let me speak to that too, because I grew up in a house, you know, with a single parent, my mom, and I watched her pull, you know, we were on welfare, and I watched my mom pull herself up with God's help, of course. Single mom pulling herself up, putting herself through medical school, getting loans and grants to go to medical school, and it was just me and her. My dad wasn't around. And so I watched her be an independent patient. Sorry about that. But I don't know nothing else. And so I'm independent. I'm out there. I'm getting it, this, that, and the third. So when it came time for me to marry to my late husband, I didn't know how to be a wife. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I'll make dinner, you get your plate, I get mine. But he wasn't feeling that. I mean, it was cool sometimes, but he wasn't feeling that. And so eventually I had to learn how to be a wife. Now, some of y'all, that sounds like I'm cussing at you to say learn how to be a wife. What that mean? Because that's how I felt back in the day. What that mean? What does that mean that I got to be a wife? Does that mean I got to bring somebody's plate? I got to cater to somebody and this, that. What you won't do, another girl will. What you won't do, another woman will. You don't want to make the plate? That's fine. But God taught me how to do it. And I learned that being a wife doesn't necessarily mean that I'm weak. I equated it to being weak. But I understand now that if that's what my man wants, he wants me to fix some dinner, he wants me to make a plate, sure, I'll do that. It's no problem. And I got to drop all that at the door because none of that means nothing. I don't want to be the man over my house. And that sounds foreign to a lot of you. But let me tell you something, ladies. If you don't get it and you don't understand it, I'll come in, Joe will tell you, I come in the house, my heels or whatever, and I'll take my coat off and start cooking. Will I not?
You better.
No. Try it again.
Yes, you do, but you better.
No. That don't work.
I highly suggest it.
Yeah, but that don't work.
I recommend it. Highly recommend it.
You highly recommend it.
But I mean, she's right. Is that the simple things that women think that they got all of the things covered, that they, you know, I do this and I do that, and you know, I go get the bacon and I fry it up and I bring it in, but you know, 30 years of that'll make you a dull girl, you know, unless you could come under the covering. And let me say on the behalf of black men, not as a whole, not every one of them, but in the 80s and 90s, mostly some of the 2000s, black men abandoned their families. I mean, high numbers of black men just wasn't around for their children. And so what it forced black women to do was to develop these traits of masculinity and strength just to be able to survive. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the 80s and 90s and some of the 2000s, those were the most strongest black women you ever met, single mothers. My mom was one. Because there was just no men around. The men just kind of disappeared. And now we're coming back, and a lot of us expect honor, but a lot of women have nursed at the breast of other bitter women. Yeah. And they have become contaminated in what they think about black men because generation ago, all the men wasn't hitting on nothing. Right. And so now we enter these relationships in marriage with this bitter contamination from, again, nursing at the breast of other bitter women. So you learn about men from other women who have been hurt and who had dealt with all that. But there's no excuse, though, in the end. Get some healing, get some therapy, you know, get some proper training. We got to all get back into our proper place. And if we don't do that, then we are in the process of annihilation and extinction, because this is the devil's plan for us. If the woman say, I don't need you, I don't need no man for nothing.
I've heard many women say that.
Yeah, when you start thinking like that and saying stuff like that and watching too many movies, watching too many movies, watching too many of these shows, watching Ellen too much with that lesbian spirit, it breaks you down and breaks apart your idea of what family should be. And until you could really, 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 really shed that and take off those clothes of the bitter woman and put on the clothes of a real woman, then things won't never change. Because you think that in your mind and you believe you got the system so good that you could trick people into believing you are what you're not. But a man has discernment to see another man when he's in a building. I know a transvestite when I see him. I know a lesbian when I see, because I know that they don't have a feminine aura about themselves. And so you turn the people off, pretty as you are, as long as your hair is, big as your butt is, you know, as deep as your dimples are, turning men off by your aura of what you really honestly think behind all your makeup. You know, deep down the back of your head, you believe that you don't need no man. You got it all covered. You got it all together. All you need him for is what's between his legs and somebody take out the garbage. And men feel that. And so, and they'll run from you. They'll get what they want from you and they'll run from you. They'll play with you, but they ain't going to stay with you. So that's that. I don't want to talk no more.
You want to talk no more?
No.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
That's my bill.
PayPal account, Reverend.
Gosh, I need to give to that. And that's why I make his plate.
That ain't the only reason you make my plate.
That's the reason why I make your plate, sir.
Hey, this is a simple
Don't get
fact.
fresh.
You see how you playing with your hair?
Yeah.
You know what you know what that's called?
What?
That's that flirting kind of feminine thing.
Yeah.
As simple as that is.
Right.
You know, men enjoy that because that's very feminine.
Right.
You know, so a lot of what Joe was talking about, how the position of the man has been removed. You know, let's just be real. You know, especially in the black community, and the women, our mothers, you know, had to step up. And my mom was, you know, a businesswoman and, you know, a mover and a shaker. If she didn't, then she wasn't going to eat.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, now that we're out of balance, how do we get in balance? Because Joe was dropping some major pearls. You know, I gave some good information, but at the same time, you got that woman who says, okay, now you've given me that. How do I get from the knowledge, the information that you've shared to being that? And I think that's one of the biggest struggles is the how. That bridge in between, because before you had the mothers, you know, teaching the daughters, you had the fathers teaching their sons. Well, she's like, I'm already a mom. You know, I already got 2 kids that I put through college. Okay, so now that you're telling me I need to be this, and where is the template to be that?
No, wait a minute. Somebody just asked Chris, why can't people love who they want? What do you mean? Why can't people love who they want? Somebody just asked that. And they've been asking questions this whole time, this same person.
Yeah, they will have to put out there what they mean.
Gotta be specific.
Gotta be specific.
My sister's a lesbian and she is a beautiful person who has a strong relationship with God. Ashlyn, we're not tripping on that. And, you know, I'm not tripping on that at all. Don't get us twisted. It's not like that. And every relationship scope that we do, we always have somebody that has, you know, someone gay. You know, my aunt is gay. And so we're not bashing anybody. We're not saying that anybody can't love somebody. I'm not saying that. You know, I'm not saying anything like that. So, but I don't have any experience with that, and neither does Doc Reid. You know, we're heterosexual. So we're not even talking about who can love who they love. We're not even on that subject. We're just talking about the roles that you play. Because even in lesbian relationships, one is the femme and one is masculine. I've never seen 2 studs together.
Yeah. So it's so funny. They one will take, even this thing is hardwired so tight, the way relationships are made and the way God has made relationships, one will naturally gravitate to the masculine role and one gravitates to the feminine role.
Because that's how God made it.
Yeah, I've always found, and here, let me say, when I say what I'm about to say, it's strictly from an observation standpoint, because the one woman who takes on more of the feminine role says, for whatever reason, men, that's not her thing, it doesn't do it for her, but at the same time, she's attracted to a woman who looks like a man.
Right.
And a man. And a woman who's giving off a masculine vibe. Now, I know it's a lot of layers with that. So I'm not trying to get off into this versus this, conversation. That's not it. Like I said, that's merely an observation of the masculine role and the feminine role that exists in relationships, no matter what the dynamics.
Right.
Okay. So with what we're talking about here tonight, as it pertains to that very upside down, dynamic that we have going on, especially in the black community, you have, like I said, very masculine females, and then you have men with more feminine, weaker, softer energy, and it's backwards and it's upside. And what we've got to do, the women have to learn how to take that back seat, allow a man to lead, and feel comfortable in her femininity, and challenge him. Not challenge him like get in his face, as much as allow him to go ahead and lead. And then she practice following. Right. And ladies, let me say this with all sincerity and compassion. I know it's a challenge for you to have to be strong in the workplace, because that's considered weakness. If you're overly feminine, they already think you're a joke and all that. I get that. And then now you're expected to come home, and doll it up and take that off. That's not necessarily a natural transition for some women. And I get that. But my thing is this. Just start the process to learning how to do it. Right. Because I'm trying to tell you, that's what we as men need from. We think it's your strength. We think it's mad sexy. It is the sexiest thing in the world to see a woman who knows who she is and walks in that. But it's even sexier to know that she allows me to lead her, that she expresses to me that she needs me. And it's not with a lot of attitude, and it's not with a lot of macho bravado. You know what I mean? Yep. But if you got all that stuff in your mind about the past relationship and the relationship before that, and what my daddy did to my mama, and all of that dynamic, you have got to get that stuff out of you and do some work. Do men need to do some work? Let's talk about the other side of this. Yeah, Joe spoke to that as well. We all need to do a lot of work. A lot of men need to step up to the plate a lot more and go ahead and actually lead. Okay? All right? Take that position, because a lot of men have gotten so comfortable allowing the women to lead because the women take on that role naturally. A lot of women don't lead necessarily all the time out of strength. They lead because they're nurturers. Then they allow that part to lead the relationship. I give and give and give and give because I'm such a giver. I'm such a nurturer. Well, God gave that to you for your kids and to help take care of your family, but in a more supportive role. But not to lead it. But if you get with a guy who gets real comfortable, because a guy get comfortable on you quick, you know what I mean? Because if you take food up to a lion and you feed him, yeah, he's going to eat it. That may not mean that that's the way he would prefer to get his food, because he's wired to chase. But yeah, you walk up to that joker, he going to straight up eat you. Straight up. Yep. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, allow that man to be a man. And my thing is this, I would love to keep doing these scopes. I would love to keep having this dialogue so that we can get things back in natural balance. And let me say this, sisters, for all of y'all that are out there doing your thing, making it happen, the ones like Lexi, I love it. I love you. Keep doing your thing. We just need to know how, when you bring it into the house, to have that same strength, but to just flip it. And just be who God made you. So, but at the end, go to my website and get this book, learn about that womp womp and how to put it on us. Here's my website right here.
Turn it around, sir.
A lot of you, I'm sorry, preacher. A lot of you have already gotten the book, told me how much you love it. And I appreciate free. That. And if you do need some help,
put it back up.
If you do need some help with what we're talking about, Get at me. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. Lexi can attest to that. You know, if not, I wouldn't even be out here. So whatever that, you know, we can do to help. You know, I need to pound that pound womp womp. I need to do that. I need to do something with, I'd say I'm going to get some t-shirts. Next time I get on here, maybe I have a t-shirt, womp womp t-shirt and the hat. Download link doesn't work for me. I know. For some of you that said the download link doesn't work, I sent out an e-blast saying just email me directly and then I'll shoot it to you. I'll just send it to you in an email. All right? If the download link, a lot of you were able to download, but just let me know and I'll take care of you. All right? So it's ChristopherReid.org. I'll put that up again. And they're, yeah.
Who's the baby in the back?
See a picture? Yeah. And I got YouTube videos. I got a gang of YouTube videos out there talking about everything under the sun as far as relationships. My wonderful daughter just walked in here with her hair all over her head. My me. What's up, Munchkin?
She's so pretty. So pretty.
Okay, all right, Kizzy. All right.
I need to ask you something.
Here.
Okay.
Lexi, don't be sitting that close to Joe until y'all married. No, I'm going to sit close to him. All right, bye, Chris.
All right, Reverend.
All right, Reverend.